So I will get a phone holder for my truck. But the thought I've been thinking about lately is if you've ever had like a gray cloud feeling, like I thought it was some of the videos that I would watch on YouTube. I thought it was, I'm not a big social media, well, I'm on Twitter a lot. So yeah, it's on social media. But just feel like there's a gray cloud hanging over you. Like whether you make 500 this week or 10,000 this week, it wouldn't change anything. Whether you go home, kind of lately I've had, say a short fuse. One thing rubs you wrong, you instantly just are in a gloom mood. But then you think positively. Certain things unlock this positivity. I don't know what they are. That's what I'm narrowing down. Reflecting on my past, reflecting on my children. By that I mean looking back at memories I had with them puts me in a mindset that I was when my daughter was born. How I felt, when she first said daddy, when she used to say cookie. She'd come up to me wanting a cookie. It's one of her first words. But it makes you think about this. Makes you think about those times, and a lot of times I will think about the past and recognize the joys that occurred while the joys that I felt during that time, but it's in a reflective manner. It's not, I had no worries when I was younger. I was in the military. Things were happening fast. I was learning a lot. Every day was new. And it just seemed as if I wasn't thinking too much about things. Just living day by day, enjoying it. I've been working through if it's an age thing, if it's a responsibility thing, if it's a mindset. Is it a physical chemical thing that I'm experiencing? Is it just trying to figure out what that is. I tend to reflect and appreciate the past, knowing I appreciate it in the moment, and I appreciate it looking back, but can sometimes struggle to understand or struggle to feel that way in the moment. But what I found was that the longer you go do your day to day, and then you look back at the times where you didn't quite feel that energy or that high from feeling happy, and then you look back and it was a happy time. So my intention is to decipher or to understand, and I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of thoughts on this. If it's the changing world, if it's the dynamic of, we're not in the same world we were 4 years ago, but let alone 10 years ago. I'm 32, still young, but maturing. I'm trying to discover what makes me happy, whether I want to keep driving to work every day 9 to 5 and do this. The pressure of thinking that you need to start something new, or there's something out there that you're missing out on by being at the 9 to 5, whether this is that. And we just have so much information to be able to balance or to compare what I'm doing now versus what I could be doing, and then the fear that if you keep going down this path, if this is the correct path, and the bailout, the getting out of this path that I'm on, socially, work. Actually, I'm pretty happy socially, so I guess that's not the correct. But we get a lot of energy and happiness from what we do every day, and that includes your job. When I was in the military, obviously, we find that through each other, and it's a very prideful thing, going out there and performing your job every single day and knowing that it means something different. Now I have a desk job. I'm sure I'll get into that. But I'm doing my best to understand if what's occurring in my own life is happening, just making connections. I'm not even saying it. I'm not saying it's a negative experience. I think it's a great experience. It's a discovery, a path of discovery. It's a way to know if this is the best me. Now, I've gone through different thought lines, that being, I'm the first in my family to graduate college. My grandfather served in the Army. My uncle served in the Army. My dad did not. My uncles didn't. My aunt didn't. But I did. My brother didn't. My sister didn't. I would consider myself fairly successful at this point. There's no reason to compare. I don't compare. I live to my own standard, but I feel fairly successful. I have things. I can buy things I want. I think that's the definition of successful. I have the things I need, and I can buy the things I want. To an extent. Obviously, I want a boat, but can't quite buy that yet. But through this thought process, my goal is to hopefully understand what I may be experiencing, what I'm observing. That may be connections to articles written about today's generation and how we interact socially. I have my opinions on social media. I have my opinions on where society seems to be pushing toward. What we're intaking physically through food, water, what we're reading, what we're being allowed to read, and how that plays into it. But I figured if I was going to talk about anything on my long drive home every day, this is something I can talk about. This is something I can share. This is something that interests me. I like watching, I love, one of my favorite things in the world, absolute favorite, is watching how my children navigate through life, how they interact with other kids, how those other kids interact with them, the impressions we leave on our children, and the impressions my child leaves on my children. Got a little one, still pooping in the diaper, but how they impress on us. And hopefully this will help me navigate in the best way I can. Because I feel like we're at a point where me in my particular age I've experienced what I believe. I'm sure some people have experienced more. I'm a small town boy though, and I've had the opportunity to travel around the world, experience a lot of things and a lot of people, things I could have never have imagined. I've had the opportunities that I appreciate, and I think I hit a point in my age where I have a large enough sample size and a palette to begin to dissect how I feel, and maybe even understand my external environments to make some connections. And I hope that these thoughts can help other people in my age. You know, maybe hive mind, maybe we can come up with something together. Who knows? Hopefully, somebody that's had the same experiences, doing a tour in the military and getting out and coming back into the civilian life, and that whole process, how you interact and how you feel and how you were trained, and how some things that are happening just seem to be opposing to your viewpoints, and how you just how you get along with that, and how you can come to the best conclusion to clear those gray clouds. And luckily, I'm happy enough that I know there's good days and I know there's bad days, and sometimes I imagine if you were a straight line, life would be boring. So the more opportunity the more pressure you have to have sadness. I don't want to say anything other than that, just sadness or something that kind of tugs on your heart. I think there's the equal opportunity to have the same amplitude, whatever, the same amount to the positive side. So I just see it as an opportunity. It's nothing to sulk on. It's just a way to understand myself. So let's figure this out.